What up, guys? Today we are jumping into siege mode with the heavy bolter, and my intention with this was to push into, endless waves and to see how far I could go. Now, this is a level 15 heavy. I jumped into siege mode here, level 9, and overall, this build is pretty good. This is normal siege mode. I kind of wanted to see if we can make it to wave 25 and further. However, this is the run where I basically had to disconnect on purpose to get to the battle barge. Oh yeah, offensive capability there. Offensive capability is one of the best perks for siege mode, I swear. It is so good to be able to deal damage to enemies surrounding you in executions. It's pretty crazy. But yes, my teammate right there cannot be picked up. That is an indefinite timer on their respawn. Basically, if we go over there to try to pick them up, we don't get an input. This was a pretty horrifying bug, to be completely honest, but it's the first time and the only time I've seen it. And yes, this is wave 20. So we're going to have a few Carnifexes on this one. Basically, the way I wanted to approach this, my strategy here, was to take out a Carnifex as quick as possible, and then, yeah, just basically go from there. Having triple Terminus enemies is very dangerous, so it is very beneficial to take out one as early as possible. And then we do have a Vanguard teammate who does not have unmatched zeal, so honestly, that was already pretty terrible if you consider the endless wave push. Having a Vanguard that does not have healing can definitely limit your siege mode runs. But you know what limits siege mode runs a lot more than not having the right perks? Yeah, bugs. Bugs. Because right here, the Bulwark is not going to get back up. And now, for the Carnifexes, oh yeah, look at that red ping. For the Carnifexes here, just taking out one can feel very good. It can give me a lot of room to navigate siege mode here, to navigate wave 20. And yes, making sure that this Carnifex hitting that wall there was very convenient. I was kind of in a pretty bad spot here. But yeah, making sure I can kind of line up with my teammate here, considering that it's only me and the Vanguard. This is basically a duo for wave 20 because the Bulwark will not get up. Yeah, just seriously, look at it. Look at the timer over there will not budge. You can walk up to it, you just can't pick them up. And it didn't DC them. I don't know if they left or not. Maybe they did end up leaving, and this is why we have this bug going on. But yeah, getting those headshots on the Carnifex, doing great damage with the heavy bolter there. I am using the accuracy variant of the heavy bolter, so it was really easy to continuously hit those headshots on the Carnifex, and boom, 2 Carnifex down for wave 20. This was definitely a good push, even though considering we were pretty much playing off meta here. I mean, I am under leveled. If you really think you need level 25 for wave 25, I'm not 100% sure it's necessary. As long as you have a good build, wave 25 should be easy enough. I think what's more important for wave 25 is having relic weapons, maybe. And yeah, obviously having some perks that you are comfortable with and know what you're doing with goes a far way. And then here I was talking about offensive capability. So making sure you have some sort of like splash damage is very important for siege mode, and obviously here with the heavy bolter, I don't really get a lot of splash damage. So my shield is basically where my splash damage is coming from. And yes, I am level 9 here, so I do not have Wrath of the Imperium. Yep, right there was a very quick look at it. Level 9, yep, we have melee champion. Advanced conditioning might still be active, considering that we have the Bulwark in the game. Not 100% sure how that's going to work. But this was by far the worst bug I think I've seen in siege mode. Just having a player just indefinitely downed. Like, we can't get them back up. And then, not to mention, I think the Vanguard was a little bit, this Vanguard they were probably overwhelmed. This Vanguard had a lot going on in wave 20, and yeah, I was basically in last brother standing for the most of this wave. Actually, for the most of the last couple waves. But just to make sure that I can condense the amount of mobbing we did, because dude, it takes 30 minutes to get from wave 18 to wave 20 here. So that was a lot of extra fighting I had to do. That's insane, by the way, dude. We definitely could have made it to wave 25 with the builds that we had and the team that we had. At least I think so. But yeah, getting a bug like this definitely made sure that we were not able to push into wave 25. getting pounced on by triple extremists right here, 2 lictors, there's a Ravener. This was terrible for my position because, like, honestly, when it comes to heavy parrying, even with duelists, it can come out a little bit slow. And yeah, you go for the parry on one and you get hit by the unblockable attack on the other. This was a very bad position for me to be in. Luckily, I do have a stim there and a Guardian Relic, so I wasn't too worried. I didn't want to use a stim right there because I figured, hey, if I go down, I can just go Guardian Relic, which is nice, and then I'll just pull out the Heavy Bolter and get my health back that way. Still, though, you can imagine, this is still a pretty terrible position to be in. Dude, the lictors jumping in and out of the majors, it kind of makes it difficult to see what is going on. But hey, big double parry right there, getting the plasma shots. Unfortunately, getting absolutely comboed off on by Bone Swords there. And boom, you can see the damage effects of the offensive capability perk on the shield there. So as long as I have shield, I was getting some chip damage to the enemies around me. So I felt pretty good with that. Going in for this execution is huge because I'm getting absolutely tormented by lictors. They just keep attacking me. They just kept attacking me. It was pretty terrible. And then I was trying to go for the zone throw. I get grabbed. Luckily, I break out of this one. Dude, holy cow, man. Wave 20, basically Wave 20 Last Brother Standings are insane. Like, this was the first experience I had with Endless Waves and being, like, by myself, I think. I'm pretty sure when it comes to Last Brother Standing, I haven't seen any past, like, if I'm Last Brother Standing in Wave 15, like, as often as I see it here, I'm not 100% sure if I would want to continue pushing. Basically, being solo in Endless Waves is a quick way to die, so I want to make sure that when you're pushing Endless Waves, you have teammates that can definitely deal with it. Here, I did have good teammates, it's just unfortunate that we had the bug here where we didn't have the Bulwark. And yeah, the Vanguard was doing a pretty fine job at surviving, but Wave 20 is definitely where Endless Waves, and I think Wave 18, Wave 19, Wave 20 is where I started to notice the Vanguard struggling a little bit. So, like, honestly, melee champion isn't going to save your life in Wave 20. I think Unmatched Zeal just puts you into a position to clean up some mistakes. But yeah, here we go. We are Last Brother Standing. That is a Biovore. We are still practically surrounded. We're practically surrounded at all times in Wave 20. But yeah, this is exactly why I mentioned getting rid of the Carnifex as early as possible is huge. If either of those Carnifexes were alive here, I don't think I survived Wave 20. But yeah, just putting up the shield during the execution is allowing me to get damage on the enemies while I am doing the execution. However, I went for the melee there and it got smacked out of it, which canceled the shield. So that was unfortunate. Had to make sure I protect myself there, getting the parry. Dude, unfortunate, not a perfect dodge there. The thing about the Heavy Bolter is pretty interesting. It's definitely a pretty easy weapon to just, like, you know, get a parry, get your gun strike, pull up the Heavy Bolter, get a couple shots in, do another parry because somebody's probably attacking it. Right there, offensive capability stopped that major from hitting me. They basically went into executionable state before they even connected that melee shot, which is insane. But yeah, the Heavy Bolter is a pretty fast weapon to use. Normally I like the Melta. In situations like this, the Melta would have been great, but I definitely needed the Heavy Bolter considering throat enemies, and not to mention how quickly it took down the Carnifex. Definitely felt pretty satisfying. Now, normal siege mode, Wave 20, 100% is very difficult. This was one of the hardest experiences I had with siege mode at Wave 20 because I felt like, obviously, I'm Last Brother Standing here. We were doing that quite a bit, and it really put me into a position to get swarmed by lictors. Getting swarmed by extremists in any case is pretty bad for the Heavy just because of how aggressive they are with melee, and considering Heavy does have basically a slower parry. The windows are still fine, but I really had to anticipate, you know, them throwing a lot of combos at me. And then, not to mention, I think just the Heavy Bolter was doing a better job at taking enemies out even if I went for parries. So some of these attacks I kind of just had to take and make sure I could dish out a large, basically a large mag of the Heavy Bolter. A large portion of the mag because, yeah, you do not reload the Heavy Bolter. It's a cooldown situation. But oh yeah, see, red bars there. Red bars there mean spamming rolls, making sure I don't get grabbed or anything like that. But yeah, seeing that many issues definitely kind of foreshadowed the fact that after this operation, this is the exact operation I was talking to you guys about, where at the end of this one, I had to go into the settings of the PS5 and manually disconnect from the internet, which kicked me back to the battle barge, which gave me the benefits of this operation. And I have proof. I do have proof within this operation. That's how it happened, because obviously at the beginning of this, of this video, I was level 15, and during this operation here, I am level 9. And basically at wave 20, I think this is a prestige 2 heavy. Yeah, that definitely adds up when it comes to experience. It definitely adds to the fact that I went from level 9 to 15 here, which is basically the only way I was able to really notice the effect of getting kicked to the battle barge, was just my level. I wanted to make sure, I wasn't 100% sure of how many points I had, so that wasn't a great measurement for that. So basically when I got disconnected, or I disconnected myself to the battle barge, I just went into my levels, and yeah, I had exactly what you guys saw there. I didn't buy any other levels just to make sure you guys knew that that was what it looked like directly after this run. So yeah, honestly, this wasn't that, it's not that bad of a level jump going from level 9 to level 15, but you have to keep in mind, wave 18 to wave 20 took 30 minutes, mainly because I'm practically playing solo. So these endless waves were kind of insane. After wave 20, I said to myself, man, I am not too sure we can push to wave 25. And I was correct, because the game didn't let me. The reason why I had to disconnect was because the elevator over there wasn't working. I wasn't able to actually use it. I really wish I had footage of me just like kind of looking at the elevator be broke and everything. But at that moment, I didn't know I was going to be able to make it out of this this wave. So basically, well, make it out of it, with a connection, So basically, after we cleared out all the enemies for wave 20, I basically just recorded the past 30 minutes, which started at the middle of wave 18, by the way, which is crazy. And then the bugs happened, and I was like, oh great, I'm not even going to be able to register this wave. Oh great, this entire wave push was for nothing. But fortunately, it wasn't for nothing. Ended up completing it and getting the levels. That was a crazy push, man.